That there is going to be the tallest building in the world. How come they can do that? And we got people starving in the heart of Manhattan. It's a good point, you know?
It is a good point. Yeah, it's almost as though wealth inequality is a massive problem. It's almost as though we should, I don't know, redistribute the wealth. I don't know.
Whoa.
Maybe that's worth considering.
Lucy, you wanting the FBI in our chat or something? What you doing?
Right, it is 5 a.m. I am throwing hands at the mega billionaires. Come see me with these hands, Jeff Bezos. That's a call out.
Bet he isn't even up yet, the lazy bastard.
Maybe. What time is it in Silicon Valley? What's going on?
I don't know.
I'm in New York. I think that's where they built the new Amazon headquarters. It's midnight in New York.
Oh.
So, I suppose
he's
maybe
not going to be
up.
there. He's not going to be at the headquarters. He'll be in his fucking chalet or something. Is that what?
Maybe he's in LA. Time in LA. It's 9 p.m. Oh, he's awake if it's 9 p.m.
Oh, maybe not. Maybe he has to go into his birthing pod or something.
Maybe he does.
Yeah.
Perhaps we'll never know, which would be a great tragedy.
Certainly.
I'd love a fly-on-the-wall documentary of Jeff Bezos' life. What does he do in the day-to-day? That's just insane to me. Like, what could he possibly be doing in the day? I genuinely have no conception of what he does with his time.
Everyone knows that he's a member of the Telosians from the pilot episode of Star Trek.
Yeah.
But this isn't the time for bullshit, Lewis. We've got Doctor Who to review.
We've got the serious business of Doctor Who to review.
Yes. So we are doing Doctor Who Season 3, Episode 5, Daleks in Manhattan, and it's the first part of a two-parter, and I'm very excited to talk about this one.
Yeah, you like this one very much, don't you?
Yeah.
My notes are a bit deliberately thin on the ground, because I imagine you have reams and reams of paper, chock-a-block full of notes.
Yeah. This episode was written by Helen Rayner. Fun fact, the first woman to ever write for the Daleks. So there you go.
Oh, nice.
And it was directed by James Strong, and it is starring David Tennant, Prima Agyeman, Miranda Rayson, Ryan Carnes, Hugh Quashire, and I think...
Jesus Christ.
I
would pronounce that Corshi, but, you know, I don't actually know the guy pronounced any kind of way.
Corshi? And Spider-Man.
Yep, Spider-Man is here too.
Yeah. Do you have an opening statement?
Yes, I do. It's funny, isn't it, when all these people go missing, that Spider-Man isn't helping out.
Is that it?
Chilling look at a chilling look at a chilling concept. I love it very much. This episode is this two-parter at the very least exemplifies why, like, the Daleks are such an untenable species as a concept. It's like this is the Daleks crop up all the fucking time in Doctor Who. Mm-hmm. Like, they're there at the Pandorica, just, chilling out with all the others. Oh, we had to form an alliance. It's not a very Dalek-y thought, is it?
No.
But, like, I do appreciate it when, like, it's almost like a character study of the Daleks in this two-parter. I quite like that.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. A surprisingly political beginning of a two-parter that has social commentary, a love story, and character development for the most infamous creatures in the universe. So,
that's the one.
Yeah. Creepy room questions. Okay. I love the theatrical element of this two-parter. The cheesy accents and everything. It just gives it something. I don't know what it...
It's like something out of a PI novel. Yeah.
Yep. Definitely. I do appreciate
the... it's kind of vaguely tangentially related to what you said. I appreciate the stuff that's actually in the theatre is so very bright and colourful and sparkly and sort of camp and over the top. And then it's so, like, horrifically juxtaposed by like trudging through the sewers. Do you know what I mean? It's a really nice thematic change.
Yep.
It's a really nice aesthetic change as well, in a funny way.
Definitely. Like the what do you call it? The musical number, You Put the Devil in Me. That's just so much fun. I've got to say, that's just
Definitely.
Yeah. It may be a bit cheesy, but it fits with the sort of aesthetic of the 1930.
Yeah.
It's really quite telling that it's set in 1930. Because it's just happened after the Wall Street crash. It's a hotbed of political tension, and we see labor exploitation, through what's his name, Mr. Diagoras, and
Yes.
and some of the quotes are just so on point for the complete lack of empathy from people at the top, especially at that time. Unemployment is such an incentive. It'll get done. Don't worry. Or if you don't work, I can replace you like that. Just stuff like that.
Disregard for sort of working people. Yeah, it's disgusting.
Definitely. And it's also interesting how
engaging is a character trait, but also depressing and horrible. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And it's interesting how the Daleks come in and exploit that, because the 1930s in many parts of the western side of the world was the rise of fascism.
Yeah.
It was because of the poverty and the depression that people were in. It gave rise and gave a voice to these horrible fascists who used scapegoats. So it's interesting to look at it from that point of view as well.
Sure.
You've got the pig slaves, which is a symbol for capitalism. It all sort of seems to coalesce politically.
Do you think there's a different version of this story that takes place in Nazi-occupied Germany?
Probably.
Where it's, I'm trying to imagine what would change, but I'm a bit too sleepy. Because the only thing that would be different, I suppose, is maybe the Daleks would touch down, and the Nazis would be like, bloody hell, they're like a turbo version of us.
Yeah.
Let's get these guys doing stuff.
Yeah, I imagine the Nazis would probably see the Daleks as tools or something like that, and try and use them Nazis aren't more intelligent than anyone else. They're not going to have some third sense in how to use the Daleks. They're going to get used by the Daleks and killed by the Daleks. You know.
Yeah.
Solomon is a really great character.
Solomon is a really great character.
It's a bit on the nose with the I don't know if you know the biblical story of Solomon.
I am aware it's a biblical name. I don't know what he was up to.
It's a story where he splits the bread and shares it between. You see that in the episode. I can't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can't remember the exact events in the story, but I know that that's a big part of it. And it's share things and all that, so that's quite nice. I really quite like the Hooverville stuff. I wish there was a bit more of that, But it's going to be squeezing everything into an episode is going to be quite difficult. I've talked for 9 minutes now. Do you want?
No, I'm enjoying it. You're okay. It's I think the one thing that really sticks out in my mind about this episode is that I really appreciate both the setting and the set dressing, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
In that I appreciate that it's set in such a relevant time where it was all too normal to exploit workers, and it was all too normal to... I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't think they were killing them to turn them into, Dalek pigmen, but
No.
it was all too normal to exploit workers and a lot of work for very little pay and people that hadn't unionized and all the rest of it. And I also appreciate that, like, the Art Deco style of the things that were happening at the time. Like, the Daleks lab is very Art Deco, which is like a weird thing to look at. And it's like, oh god, Daleks with Art Deco architecture is weird, beautiful but weird.
Yeah.
And I appreciate the sort of depravity and horribleness of what's it called, Hooverville. I don't know. There's when people talk about, like, oh, it's a romantic vision of a revolution, and it's a romantic revolution of sort of a vision of sort of storming the gates, pitchfork in hand, sort of thing.
Yeah.
That's, I think, is what you get when you look at Hooverville, and I think you look at that and you see the sort of this romantic vision of sort of everybody banding together and working as one to sort of seize the means of production and keep together and sort of stand against this unstoppable force that is capitalism and Daleks.
Yeah.
Which is, capitalism to crush your soul, Daleks to crush your body.
Yeah.
It's what are you going to do there? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Because in the 1930s, a lot of capitalists just bent, to the fascists, just allowed them free reign.
Yeah.
Because it was...
there's a profit motive involved. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, between fascism and socialism, capitalists will always choose fascism because, there's no chance of them exploiting people under socialism.
No, you're completely right. Yeah, it's I think there's no ethical way to run an enormous business, but there are many extremely unethical ways to run an enormous business.
Yeah.
I think the only exemption that comes to mind is Ben and Jerry's. Bizarrely, is suddenly just popped into my mind. Ben and Jerry, the actual guys, are still kicking around, doing stuff, making ice cream flavors and all the rest of it. And as I understand it, I think they were hippies when hippies were a thing, and now they kind of have very similar political motives. And, like, yeah, they're extremely rich off the back of delicious ice cream, but I think... I can't remember now. I think they donated a lot of money to Black Lives Matter related organizations when that was sort of coming to a head, and they... that was it. They released a lot of statements about there's no place in the world for this kind of intolerance and hatred and sort of thing. And I think it's strange almost to see a company that enormous make such a nice statement. It's weird to sort of, when you look at like a company like the company that are building the Empire State Building and this, and you think, okay, they are literally, all they are doing is we're going to exploit workers until they die and then get more. And that's kind of what you see around you. And then you see every now and then one or two companies that maybe do an okay job. It's a weird one.
Yeah. I would probably say that companies really don't have a lot of choice, because they want to try and get people to buy their product. And
yeah.
While I think it's probably true that the guys from Ben and Jerry's are probably decent people,
yeah, I imagine there's also a board of shareholders that are extremely profit hungry, and it's come on, we have to support Black Lives Matter, we have to support this. Yeah, I imagine that's the number one motivator, rather than Ben and or Jerry just being like, oh come on, let's just say we love everybody.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's just so disgusting. Oh, we have to support. Oh my god.
Yeah, exactly. How fucked is that?
It's like, well, if we want money, we have to, bite the bullet. Bite the bullet on what? It's common fucking sense, you stupid cunt.
Yeah. It was what was it? It was a headline I saw very recently that bizarrely relevant to this. Are you aware it's the Euros going on at the minute? Some kind of European football. I'm not going to pretend I understand it.
Oh yeah,
it's like a European football tournament. Yeah. And as a result of that, there are players that are taking the knee in solidarity with Black Lives Matter and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was a police chief in the UK that said he will deliberately not be doing anything of the sort because he doesn't want to align with one side or the other. It's like, well, by not doing, you are aligning with the side of massive racists.
Yeah.
So, do you know what I mean? You can't just say, plead impartiality, and then deliberately do things that are racist. Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean?
And sadly as well, the Scotland team said that they wouldn't be kneeling because they wanted to take a stand against racism. Like when when it's already recognised that taking a
I don't
knee
think
would
those
be
things
taking a stand.
quite.
So everyone does this.
Yeah.
Everyone does this to show solidarity and to stand up against racism. And Scotland's like, yes, but we're doing it the other way, where everyone would think we're racist, but we're not racist. We're doing it. Like, it's fucking weird.
It is a bit. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's ever so strange. It's funny how we've talked about football, because football is kind of. It's similar to exploiting, like selling your body to a capitalist overlord and exploiting like your legs until they can't kick a football anymore. Do you know what I mean? It's ever so weird that we've ended up here.
Yeah, well, it's like a microcosm of like politics. You know, it's like
Yeah.
it's ultimately about factionalism. But before I end up talking about how Scotland lost against the Czech Republic and everyone's fucking raging up here.
We England won. I think we won something. I can't remember who against. I remember they all had names with C in them. Like at the end, like of the starting 11, 8 of them had surnames that ended with a C.
Oh.
So I don't remember what country they were from, but I remember that about them.
Well, at time of recording, it's Wednesday, and I believe that
Yes.
Scotland is playing against England on Friday.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, so that'll be cheerful.
Oh.
But anyway,
Just like Gretna Green and all along Hastings Wall.
yeah.
People fighting to the death over the Euros.
Yep. But back
Hastings
to
Wall, Hadrian's Wall.
But back to Doctor. Jesus.
Yes, back to Doctor Who.
I really like the conversation between Mr. Diagras and I don't know what Dalek is. I think it's Dalek Khan. Where they're both looking over the city, and Dalek Khan's like, "Oh, humanity's weak. Oh, but you've still built all of this," and he almost sounds like envious in a way because he talks about his planet being gone, which is Daleks rarely show emotion other than pure hatred. So it's
they can't show any kind of emotion, Dan. That's the thing. They can't. As soon as they get overwhelmed by any kind of emotion, they start shooting. We both know that is the canon explanation for how a Dalek works.
Yep. Rather than the squid inside making the decision, it's the fucking big tank thing that does it. Cheers, Stephen. But so it really sort of encapsulates, because Mr. Diagras is also revealing himself. He's like, yeah, we've had wars. I swore then I'd survive and all that. And it's the Daleks sort of look at him and say, oh, okay, you're objectively horrible. This is probably the best chance we're gonna get here.
When the Daleks look at you and say you're objectively horrible, it's you've done something wrong at that point.
Yeah, definitely. Dalek Sec may be the first Dalek who finally understands that genetic purity is a dead end. Some great quotes like, if we're so supreme, why are we not victorious?
Yeah.
Like he's doing what the cult of Scarrow was originally created to do, to think outside the box, to try and keep the race going in any way possible. The methods are fucking horrible, but it's actually moving forward rather than, no, we must remain a little hateful blob forever.
No, you're right. It's I mean, obviously Daleks are like turbo Nazis, but you as you say, during the rise of fascism, there were so many people that fascist regimes were willing to scapegoat, and it's such a bizarre thing when you look back at history textbooks and they say, oh yeah, the Nazis thought that such and such group of people were inferior and also controlled the world. I'm sorry, what? How can they do
Yes.
both of those things? The internal logic doesn't make any sense, and that's the same that goes for the Daleks. We are inherently superior. The fact that the Doctor keeps beating us, it's just happenstance.
Yep.
It's just bad fucking luck. It's bizarre.
Definitely. I mean, that's one of the most horrible, pernicious things about like the fascist sort of ideology. It's your enemy has to be both simultaneously weak enough for you to destroy, but also huge and threatening. It's like the two things can't really coexist, but
Yeah.
it's not. It doesn't need to. It's the fear that they want. It's the paranoia that they need in order to sort of get a foothold in. It's like, oh, these horrible, behind the scenes curtains people. Oh, they're gonna ruin us, but they're still inferior. It's like, what the fuck? What else? Yeah.
You reckon there's some kind of a reason why pig men were chosen as opposed to, I don't know, cow men, horse men, any other kind of men? Pig men were chosen for a specific reason, do you think?
Well, I think it's definitely for the symbolism. Taking people and turning them into pigs is like the sort of ultimate symbol for people falling to greed or bad sort of, motivations. But obviously they didn't fall to bad motivations. They were literally kidnapped and altered as pigs. But the symbolism's
That's a good point, yeah. The
still
symbolism
sort of
does
there.
work if you were like, oh, I need to go and work for mega corporation so that I can get mega money.
Yeah.
And you're sort of submitting yourself to greed, and you sort of become this pig. It's like it'd make more sense if they kind of became pigs through exposure to the Daleks almost,
Yeah.
rather than having to go through, I don't know, I can't remember the exact process by which they're turned into pigs, but if just by being near the Daleks for 5 hours a day or 10 hours a day or 20 hours a day, they just became a bit more piggy.
Yeah.
Their noses became a bit more pig-like, and their ears became pointy. And do you know what I mean? Maybe that would be a better metaphor. It'd make much less internal sense, but it would what's the word? Be a better sort of symbolism.
I think the symbolism still works though, because it's pointing out the sort of desperation that people were under and how they would resort to anything to get out of the rut that they were in. So I imagine going down into the sewers and just even Solomon says a slave wage, because essentially that's it's $1 a day to clear a tunnel and fix a huge fucking underground sewer. So you are sort of selling yourself.
Was it 1930?
Yeah,
No, I'm trying to find a conversion so I know how much a dollar a day is.
it's not a lot.
1930 USD to now. Let's good this. $1 in 1930 to 2021 is worth $16 today.
Oh,
$16 is £11 a day.
which is
That's not very much, is it? Crikey.
no, it really isn't. But yeah, so I mean, I suppose the symbolism sort of works on that level. And it's the sort of what was it, the sort of squid thing that was left in the sewers. That's really cool as well. Well, not cool because it's horrible. It's
I
like
didn't
creating
really
your
know
own.
what the squid thing was.
Well, yeah, it's failed genetic experiments that have just been
So that was
dumped.
a prototype pigman, essentially.
No, it was a prototype Dalek. They tried making their own.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, they tried making their own embryo type thing, and then when it didn't work, they just fucking flung it out into the sewers. It's like, nope. What the
This bitch not viable. Yeet.
Yep. The intelligence scan is a bit weird. Like, how does that work?
Yeah. How do you scan someone's inherent intelligence? Does someone have inherent intelligence? This is one of my great problems with considering intelligence as a concept. Is there's realistically no way to figure it out, because even if I know nothing about physics or whatever, I could go into an exam and through sheer chance I could get every question right, and get full marks and get a PhD in astrophysics or whatever. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's not how PhDs work. But do you see my point?
Yeah.
It's very hard to sort of evaluate objectively the intelligence. So, yeah, I don't know quite how they figure that one out.
I suppose it's sort of... I mean, you could argue that it's... The Daleks have got their own sort of skewed standard for intelligence. But then again, look, Martha's obviously, she's a doctor. But isn't she more intelligent because of the morals that she has that are diametrically opposed to Dalek morals?
That's a good point, because Martha's inherent sort of medical knowledge would mean nothing if she weren't also a good person.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
It's
if
like a
someone
desire
trains
to
to
sort
become a
of
doctor,
help
and then
people
they're also
and
like,
make
okay,
people
good, I'm glad I sorted
better.
that. Now time to go and commit some atrocities.
Yeah, exactly.
At that point, it means nothing.
Yeah. And intelligence is I suppose you could measure IQ, but IQ isn't really a very good way of determining.
No, it's notoriously bad at determining someone's actual inherent intelligence.
Yeah.
Plus, it's kind of your puzzle solving ability more than it is your intelligence-ness.
Yeah, exactly.
It's bizarre.
And how come Spider-Man got to survive? Well, we know why, because he's got plot armor around him, But he's
of course.
Why is he more intelligent?
It's because he needs to save New York.
Yes, of course. He needs to make he needs to go to Hooverville.
Part of the Amazing Spider-Man? I barely fucking remember.
He's your
there was
friendly neighborhood
Dr. Connors,
Tennessee.
That was a lizard man.
Oh yeah, that's right. And then Jamie Foxx was Electro in the second one.
Yeah.
I
God, I don't remember those films at all.
Yeah.
I don't remember any of the Spider-Man. There's been so many. They've all kind of splurged together. I love Spider-Man as a concept, but damn, it's a mess. It's a mess. There's so much Spider-Man out there.
Yeah, definitely.
Spider-Man. I know we're taking a massive sidetrack now, just because Andrew Garfield happens to be in this episode of Doctor Who.
I know,
but there's all this news about who's going to be in Spider-Man 3, what's going to be the main plot of Spider-Man 3, the Marvel Studios sort of version.
Yeah.
And it's going to be either incredible or utterly insane.
Yeah.
Apparently Alfred Molina, who played Doc Ock in the original one, he's in it. And there was a character who was I think he was a theatre attendant in Spider-Man. And Sam Raimi had plans to turn him into Mysterio, which never quite developed.
Oh.
And so now that actor, and it's a well-known piece of trivia at this point in movie circles, that actor is now in Spider-Man 3, but there's already been a Mysterio in Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
So it's just weird. I don't know what's going to happen, and it's bizarre to me.
Yeah, I mean it's. I'm trying to get. I feel a bit like Stewie. I'm trying to get excited about it. Yeah. Oh look, Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and Tom Holland on the one screen. It's
Yeah, it was ever so strange for me. It was literally as soon as Endgame ended, it was like a spell had broken.
Yeah.
And now I care much less about the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's absolutely bizarre, because when Iron Man came out, I was 8.
Yeah.
And I remember going to see that in the theatre, the cinema, with my parents. And for years and years and years, I went to see new MCU films with my parents, with my dad, and we sort of would go and see them and go for some food and talk about them. And it was a big thing. And then Endgame came out, I watched it, and I was like, okay, done now. That's it. It's really bizarre. I know there's more movies coming out. There's, what is it, As Guardians of the Galaxy, or Guardians of the Galaxy 4, or Thor 4, or whatever it's called. And that's, I'm sure that'll be good, but I have no desire to see it.
Yeah.
It's really strange.
Now there's TV shows as well that, it's
Yes. WandaVision was very good, and then it wasn't, apparently. I haven't seen any of them, to be honest with you. WandaVision was very good, and then it wasn't. Loki, haven't seen it. You said the first episode wasn't very good. People seem to think it's quite good.
Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna give my opinion on that, because I'm sure we'll
Oh yeah, I'm sure we will.
We'll get to that. But do you have any more notes? I think I'm out of notes.
No, I'm talking about the MCU, Danny. No, I haven't got any more notes.
Oh.
Have you got a closing statement, Chuck?
Yes. The MCU in its entirety. A fantastic opener to a great. You all right? Have you died?
I have died. Yes.
A fantastic opener to a great two-parter that deals in very mature material ahead of its time.
That's good. I like that. That's your pretentious movie critic voice.
Yep. Ahead
It deals with very mature material.
Yes, ahead of its time. Okay.
A great opener to a two-parter. I do like these episodes very much. I think from style to substance to format to everything, they're very, very good. I'm really looking forward to rewatching the next one at the very least. And that's the end of my statement, everybody. Thank you and good night. Danny, have we got to do some shilling?
Yes, we do. Okay, right. You ready?
I'm born ready.
Wait. Wait. I said wait. Okay.
Oh, right. Sorry. I'm not quite ready yet. I'm not ready.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I am.
Getting emotionally. I'm not ready. I'm getting emotionally prepared. I'm looking around the room. I'm looking at my boiler. I'm looking at my coat rack. I'm looking at a ladder. Now I'm ready.
You're just listing things in your room.
Listing things I can see. Yeah.
Okay. The podcast has link trees. Lewis's link tree is linktr.ee/Lewis_Brindley. Mine's is /O'Hiram. And the podcast is Shouting Into the Void. There you will find all our socials, our Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, etc. So go have a look, see what's there. We also have a PayPal donate button, so anything you can spare, anything at all would be greatly appreciated. We also have Patreon, and we want to take the opportunity, as we do every week, to thank our wonderful, wonderful patrons. Chloe.
Thank you.
Darius.
Thank you.
Sophie.
Thank you.
Peter.
Thank you.
Aditya.
Thank you.
Richard.
Thank you.
Natalie.
Thank you.
And Dougie.
Thank you very much, one and all. You keep the lights on at Void Towers, even if I say thank you in a stupid voice. You allow us to keep making this show that we love to make. So thank you very much for supporting us. It really does mean the world.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. We also have merch on Teespring and Redbubble. We sell tote bags, jumpers, t-shirts, mugs, all sorts of stuff. So go have a look. See what you fancy. See what you fancy. And last but certainly not least, we are partnered with a fantastic company called Number 12 Crochet Avenue, and Lewis is going to say some wonderful things about them, all of which are true.
Indeed. Number 12 Crochet Avenue is a wonderful company run by my wonderful wife, in which she crochets, and she's very, very good at it. At the minute, she is making a incredibly, huge panel, which will be sewn down to size so that it is made into a cardigan, and it looks very, very nice, and I'm very, very excited about it. If you would like to get updates about assorted crochet things and not crochet things and assorted other things, you can go and check her out on Instagram at Number 12 Crochet Avenue. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, that was Daleks in Manhattan.
Indeed it was.
Yes.
What's the next one? Daleks still in Manhattan?
No, it's... Daleks haven't left Manhattan yet. It's
They're still bloody here. Born exterminator.
It's Evolution of the Daleks.
Oh yeah, he's got his brain out. always a unique choice to have your brain out.
Yep, defo. So we will see you, hear you, smell you, give you a political allegory on capitalism and fascism next time.
Indeed we will. Thank you very much for listening. Goodbye.
Goodbye.